Hi, my name's Cory. I'm the founder and CEO of Shedwell Scheduling. If you haven't heard of us already, we're the platform connecting workers and managers to each other and their schedules digitally. Nobody likes not knowing when they work, and no one likes building a schedule. It can be so frustrating. So at Shedwell, we've helped automate that process. We've been adopted by police departments, hospitals, chemical manufacturing companies here in Houston, and a number of other industries that felt underserved in online scheduling. If we can connect workers and managers to each other and their schedules digitally, we can help make the work world a better place. Winning the Miller Lite Tap the Future event would help us build our development team and launch new features and get us closer to our version 2, which will be the most robust and amazing shift scheduling platform that the world has ever seen. Shedwell is absolutely grateful to be part of this, and we look forward to the competition. Bring it on.
Today, let's take on Success Bench with Rosy under Notes and Coffee. Every success has a story. Are there any secrets? Note the lessons. Get inspired. Success Bench with Rosy.
Rosy Day, everyone. Welcome back to my channel for the 6th episode of my Success Bench with Rosy, featuring a distinctive LinkedIn personality, an entrepreneur, Shedwell CEO, Mr. Cory Warfield. Welcome on Bench.
Thank you so much. It's really nice to be with you. That was a great intro. That was one of the best intros. You're such a natural. What you were saying right before we started recording is that you were intrigued by the headline that I chose for myself on LinkedIn, being that, I went from being a waiter to an entrepreneur. And I think so many people have ideas, but they're in careers and they don't think that they are an entrepreneur. I think a lot of people think you need to have an MBA or you need to have a background in investment banking or something like that. So many people don't try to bring their ideas to life, and I might just be a little bit crazy. I'm very glad that I didn't let those constraints kind of make me not start a company. I just started one when I had an idea, and I figured it out as I went along, and it's been 4 years now. And we grew from being a very small company, and initially it was my co-founder and I, and we brought a few people on early stage. And the earlier stages of a company, especially the first time around, are just formative. And so people, I think, wait and never take that first step because they don't think they're ready. And frankly, the fact that I wasn't ready is what let me kind of learn as I go. And thank God I figured it out, to an extent, and I still do. So
I really have to ask you, what is the success for you?
I love that question. And I think for me, and it might sound, to some it might sound profound, to some it might sound very basic, and to others it might be confusing, but I think for me, success and happiness are the same thing. And I think the only way that you can be happy is when you're helping. And I think you can help in so many ways. You can help yourself. I think there are a lot of people that are perceived to be selfish, but they're really helping themselves. I respect that. There are people that are really very ultra focused on helping others. Some of those people turn into teachers like yourself, Rosy. I know you do a lot in the education space, right? And that's a wonderful trait that people have, to help others. But there are people that help animals. There are people that help the environment. There are people that help all of the above. And then frankly, I think there are people that don't really try to help, and it might be subconscious, or they might not know that that's where true happiness comes from. But I think just that ability to help, when you feel helpful, you feel needed. When you feel helpful, you feel productive. When you feel helpful, you feel appreciated. And I think that those all are drivers that really go behind happiness. And I don't think too many people are happy, but thank God I think more than 1% of people are happy, whereas more than 1% of people are wealthy, right? So I don't think money equates to happiness at all, but I think being able to help, for me, would be what success is. And the more money you have, the more resources you have, the more experience you have, the more knowledge you have, the more network you have, the more you're able to help. And that's been something that's been playing out in my life, on repeat. And it's just really awesome to see that energy, having momentum behind it, if that makes sense.
So if you could be generous to share, of course, guiding principles you're living with,
I would say for me, the guiding principle is to make mistakes. I think so many people are afraid to make mistakes, and you can't learn without them and you can't grow without them. And so many people get really timid, really, probably stunted because they're not allowing themselves to make the mistakes like a kid is. I think if adults let themselves make mistakes like children do, people would be making a lot more progress. You'd see a lot more innovation. So I think that's my guiding principle. I still screw a lot of things up often, and I love it, right? Sometimes I think you mess something up in the moment, you can be really excited, like, okay, I'm about to learn something, or there's going to be a breakthrough on the other side.
You've been managing a day-to-day struggle being an owner and CEO of the company. I'm curious, what's your management style?
So my management style has been to get out of the way, and you weren't incorrect, but I'm happy to report for about 7 months now, I haven't even been the CEO of Shedwell. I hired a CEO, and we have an amazing CEO. My management style really is I love to empower people, and I think the way I can do that is by getting out of people's way and really letting them make mistakes as well. Now, because I love to screw things up so much and I love to let people screw things up, sometimes you have to bring in a counterbalance. So my CEO is no nonsense, right? Nobody can screw anything up on his watch, and I think we complement each other really well. But I think my entire management style or leadership style is turned into delegation. I love being able to delegate, understand everything that needs to be done, the right skill sets, the right frames of reference. Culture is a big one for me, to have the right culture fit. But I think a true leader at scale is able to delegate so much, where people know you can do anything and everything. They know that there's nothing you wouldn't do. But I think if you're doing a great job as a manager, you're not actually working a lot. And so I think that's been something that I've been starting to settle into.
What can you advise our startup entrepreneur out there?
I think the message, if I had one for anybody behind that, is that there's just not a good time to start other than the moment. And anybody that has a good idea can try to take some small actions. And with me, people started to validate that there was a need for this. And once we brought something to market, we were able to successfully sell and launch that product. So not everyone's going to get that far on the first idea, but I would have never known if that was possible had I not just taken those steps that I wasn't ready for. So,
is there any extra question that you would want me to ask you? If just one question that you would really want to answer.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna make it a personal mission of mine to get you even more viewers and fans. I really like you and your show. And so there is one question, if you're asking me the question I would like known, and it's one that I would love to hear the answer. What's your big plans? I know you're a digital educator, you dabbled in real estate, and you're doing the work from home thing like everybody is, but where do you see yourself taking this? When you've got a big, huge podcast and you're helping people around the world, what does your day-to-day look like at that point?
Well, actually, it's me now being interviewed. Anyway, I would love to be a startup entrepreneur. I understand it's a road less traveled because there's a lot of work, takes a lot of guts to do it, energy and everything else. So I'm hoping that with this podcast and the ESL industry, I'm looking to set up a center of my own and then partner up with companies that I'm connected with right now, like an ESL platform. I'm gonna set up a center in my hometown, like it's a countryside, to inspire people there, like aspiring teachers, but they don't have the means to do it because they have to set up, internet and everything. They can't afford it. So like I'm trying to make an agency where they could work at no cost at first, start up as a teacher, because this company, they're like promoting a partnership with centers, like startup centers too.
We're going to make a little bit of news then, because I love that mission and I just happen to know some people that are doing some pretty big things in that space. I'm going to try to help you make that happen. So I'm really glad that I asked that question. That's one of the best questions I've ever asked. And we're going to break some more news on your show. The coryconnects podcast, the first couple episodes are being recorded this week. We'll probably have them in production and start to release the coryconnects podcast next week. I've not said that publicly to anyone, so this is my first my first revelation of that publicly. And so with that said, you were kind of the first question. I've been on probably 150 podcasts, but you're the first question I asked. So you are unofficially my first guest ever as well, Rosy. I don't know how that makes you feel, but we're going to have to come back and revisit this, and we'll do a part 2. So I'm pleased to have been episode number 6. Let's have you kind of continue to build your personal brand around this, and I would love to be your episode 12 as well. We'll revisit, and it'll be kind of like, I was number 6 and then number 12 to come back. And in the meantime, you and I are going to be in touch, and I'm going to look forward to see how I can help you with your vision. I think it's a really noble and a really wonderful one.
I mean, this is really unbelievable. Thank you so much. I didn't really expect it this big.
Well, you did something bold, and it's what tells me that you could be a great entrepreneur. You reached out to me. You did it in a very smart way, and here we are. And now I look forward to see how many people are going to see this episode, and hopefully a lot of people benefit from it as well. And you're going to inspire a lot of people to follow their dreams as well, because you told me before we were starting to hit record that this was a dream of yours, and you just made it happen. And you said you weren't expecting it to go this well, and so that, not only for you but anybody watching this, your dreams can come true. Always just continue to look for opportunity, and you never know what could come of it. So this is probably a perfect length for your show. So I think we'll get wrapping up with your final words. I want you to talk everyone out with a little bit of knowledge, and then that'll be my going out piece. But people will need to stay tuned to your show so they can see me on episode number 12 as well.
I'm just ecstatic to have you on the show. Thank you so much. I'm delighted that you've given me this opportunity and the rest of the world. Wonderful opportunity to learn from your ladder of success. Very inspiring to many, I'm sure, especially startup entrepreneurs like myself. I wish you more clients and more successes.
Well, thank you so much. That means a lot. I wish that for everyone that sees this as well. It's going to be a fun one. Feel free. We'll stay in touch even in just the next few days. We'll follow up on some of the stuff that we talked about.
You're truly an influencer by heart, a supporter also, a giver, and a true leader in need, I would say. Thank you. Thank you.
You're so welcome. My pleasure. Thank you as well. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Success Bunch with Rosy.
Love, Rosy. Tune in for more videos and upcoming episodes. Subscribe to my channel and get inspired. And don't forget to click the notification bell. See ya!